We're here at the Data Warehouse and BI Summit in Amsterdam, and with me is William McKnight. Welcome, William.
Great to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. During the summit, you have two sessions. Your first session is on Agile project management for data warehouse and business intelligence projects.
Yes.
One of my questions is, in data warehouse and BI projects, how can you deliver business value in short time? So if you look at Scrum and Agile, they talk about sprints of 2 weeks. Is that even possible?
Yeah, it's more than possible. It's absolutely required today that we do deliver to the business every couple of weeks. Now, this doesn't mean something of a large scope. So the challenge really is to break up that large scope into small bite-sized pieces, and get it delivered into production, or let's say you're a development group and you have a QA group, deliver it to QA every 2 weeks. Something to keep the whole train moving around BI. Now, the first few sprints, you're not going to be able to do that if you're starting out from non-agile. So it's a discipline that you want to get involved with and get to understanding. But my rule is that once you start delivering something to production, you keep going. And every 2 weeks thereafter, one or more of the stories or tasks that you actually do within a sprint should be something that actually completes a task, completes a deliverable. Small deliverable maybe, but completes a deliverable that goes on to the next step, be it QA or production. And that's how you keep it moving, and you keep this idea of we're here to deliver to production. You keep that alive. It's not 6 months out there or 12 months out there. It's much more imminent than that, and the users will definitely come to appreciate that.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting, because you say in the first few sprints you won't be able to deliver that. Is that not also because of the architecture? So what role does architecture play in an Agile BI data warehouse project? Is that something which evolves during the sprints, or is it something you need to predefine up front? What's your vision on that?
Yes, I'm going to make some big points today in my session about this, which is that we can't forget architecture because we're trying to deliver so quickly. And people forget about this. So what I do is I take architecture out of the sprints and have it be something that's overriding all of the sprints, so that we're constantly adhering to architecture within our sprints. So our architecture provides the guideposts for how we execute the sprints, the rules by which we execute the sprints. So whatever the architecture is. And today, your architecture is going to be pretty heterogeneous to take care of all the data that you need inside of an organization. And so the proper placement of projects within that architecture is really something that you don't want to get wrong. You want to account for that outside of the sprints. And that's something that maybe your chief architect, or sometimes your Scrum Master, if he or she wears this hat as well, also does, in addition to whatever their work is within the sprints. So I don't give stuff like that story points. I let it happen outside of the sprints.
Okay, that's interesting. If you look at organizations today, they sometimes have a separate data warehouse and BI team. If you look at Agile, they say, well, we want to combine everything in one team, so we can deliver end-to-end business value. So what's your vision on that? Can we have keep those separate teams, or should they be combined, or what's your vision on that?
Well, my first thought on that is that the BI teams out there should get smaller and smaller over time, and we should be pushing that out to the user communities so that they're picking up the BI. It's the whole notion of self-service BI. And if you really embrace this, you start to have a smaller centralized BI team and larger pockets of BI out there. Now, there's still roles for a central organization. There's still things around BI that you might do within a sprint. But one thing that I caution about is don't require all the reports, all the dashboards, all the KPIs, and all that to be brought into sprints. It's not for that. Sprints are about delivering the data backbone, the data warehouse, and the other constructs that are in the data backbone to the business so that they can iterate around their BI, not have to wait for a sprint, prioritize on their own, do their own BI. And so my first response is smaller BI team, but I also want to say that I really love the multi-capable individual on an Agile team, someone that can do the data integration, can do the data quality, can do the data modeling, and can do whatever is left of the BI. That person is very, very valuable when you adopt Agile.
Because isn't it so that the real business value is only made when the reports are there?
Ultimately, yes. Ultimately, that's why we're doing the data backbone, so that and I don't want to leave it at reports. Okay, I got to stop you there, because one big thing of mine is if you're still thinking about BI as just reports, then you're stuck in low maturity. So we got to get beyond reports. We got to get to automated discovery. We at least get to dashboards. Okay, and different automated push outs to IoT devices and mobile devices and so on, so that we're embracing all the mediums of the BI possibilities. Okay, so we want to get beyond reports, but ultimately, yes, it has to get out somehow, but it doesn't have to get out to a user observing data anymore. It can be pushed out into systems that actually operate upon that data more or less automatically. And there's a lot of that going on today. So that's really creeping in here. So the idea of everything we do is for people is not necessarily as true as it used to be.
Okay, in your second session during the summit, you talk about consolidating enterprise data warehouses and data marts in a single platform. So a totally different topic. What are the most important benefits? So what is the business value to migrate to a single platform?
Yeah, I think they're kind of related, actually, in a lot of ways. But the business benefits are lower TCO. Okay, that's sort of the easy one. You're managing one environment instead of several. And by the way, I'm not advocating one data warehouse, everything under the sun, and nothing else anymore at all, right? You're going to have specialized appliances for specialized workloads. You're going to have Hadoop, which is not where you're going to have your data warehouse. You're going to have Marts, and so there's a lot going on inside of these organizations. And what we want to do is go forward from wherever they are today with whatever they have and start to form up a better architecture or a more lasting architecture for the future.
Okay. If you migrate to a single platform, it might be consisting of multiple solutions, multiple products, but you require strong governance on that. So how, and this is then more related to your first session, how do you then stay flexible and agile? Or don't you see a balance between that? So
yeah, I mean, there is the lower TCO, as I mentioned, but more importantly probably is the higher return on investment possibilities from having a rationalized architecture. One that you're doing mindfully, not that happens completely bottoms up, completely, where data architecture is not even a thing inside of the organization. It should be a thing. There should be the guideposts, there should be attention given to it. There should be some foresight going on with architecture prior to when the projects come to fruition, and then, suddenly we've got to platform this project, and we have no clue, let's do it the way we've been doing it for the past 10 years. There's organizations like that, and they're starting to suffer today. So, I mean, yes, there needs to be governance, but I think governance is actually more important in this heterogeneous world that we're in, as opposed to when we thought that we could put everything in one data warehouse and that would be the end of everything, right? And so governance is very important, as you say, and that is a discipline in addition to the architecture discipline, in addition to the projects that are iterating within an organization. So they all have to work together, and it does come back to great leadership. That's what guides all of this, great data leadership, and that's going to carry the day.
Okay, well, thank you for answering my questions, and enjoy the summit.
Sure, I will do.